Hello, I'm Craig O'Neill, and in this video we're going to demonstrate how you can leverage the Protractor and AutoTextMe integration, be fully paperless in your shop, do great DVIs, and communicate effectively with your customers. I think you'll like what you'll see. Since most tickets begin as an appointment, that's where we're going to start this ticket out as well. We're going to go straight into our scheduler in Protractor, and we're going to add an appointment for our friend Joe Palooka. We're going to add the appointment here, and ticket criteria matters. We need a name, a number, a year, make, and model for each vehicle that gets transferred into AutoTextMe. We do cover that in some of our individual training videos on each of these features, so check out those videos for additional details. We're going to move straight through here and add the appointment. We're going to look up Joe Palooka right here from our utility. There he is, and we're bringing in his 2002 Odyssey. So we'll choose select, and we'll enter a note for why he's bringing the vehicle, and we'll say rattle over bumps, and we'll move on. As soon as this appointment is made, the customer is going to receive an immediate text confirmation. I'll go show you what it looks like here in AutoTextMe when that appointment first shows up. It's going to be in the future scheduled appointments tab since it wasn't made for today. If it was made for today, it would show up here in the main part of the workflow. It would not be tucked into this future scheduled appointments tab. The little A indicates that it's an appointment. Notice none of the appointments actually have any other status on them. Joe Palooka just received his text message. We'll go ahead and reply to that. As soon as you receive a text response from your client, you will see that up here in your notification center. When this page refreshes, you'll also see that there's this alert here, and you'll see that Joe Palooka's text icon has highlighted. You can click on this and see exactly what they said. We see that this has been a confirmation. And when an appointment is confirmed, you will see that it is confirmed right here in the appointment details. You can see the difference between another appointment that has not been confirmed, and these are great opportunities for you then to go ahead and follow up with the client. Now with Joe scheduled and arriving, let's go ahead and take a look at what we can do now in Protractor. If we go into the future work tab, we'll find Joe's ticket there. We can open this up and we can do anything we need with this. We can go ahead and take this directly to a work order, and we'll convert this into that right now. Now at this stage, it's still an appointment in AutoTextMe, so no other behavior has changed. This is just the same ticket add process that we would do if we were just adding a walk-in appointment. We're going to go ahead and we can reference this note here. We can add concerns and anything else we need to from this page. You see here, I've added this concern so that we have that rattle over bump note referenced on the invoice. I'll close that note now. We can just move right through. We can add anything else we need here. The key thing is, of course, that you verify the customer's proper information, making sure, of course, we do have that year, make, and model, have that customer have his cell phone number, just like any other ticket transfer phase. We could add odometer and everything else. I'm going to skip past these items and I'm just going to go straight to the ticket here. You can assign your ticket right now, certainly. I'm going to leave that blank for the moment just so we can demonstrate a few other things. And I'll hit finish. So with this created, we still have the option to save this into future scheduled work, so we could do that. I'm actually going to check this customer in. I want to check that ticket in by actually moving this to vehicle on site. We don't need to add any other inspections here, but I do want to do that. A lot of times we'll get a question on, like, how do we specify for a technician what inspection sheet he should perform? Well, you can do that. We just need to have that code ATME on that inspection. This is set up by your administrator, and I'm going to choose the multi-point inspection by AutoTextMe. We'll add that to our screen. I'll close this, and that'll be the inspection that our technician will see once we assign a technician. Now I'm going to save and close this ticket to vehicle on site because my check-in status in AutoTextMe is mapped to vehicle on site. When I do this, he's in an unassigned work right now. When I go back into Protractor, you'll see there's Joe Palooka with his ticket number right there. He's in the check-in status. If we look down here, notice he has been removed from the future scheduled appointments tab, and he's now sitting on check-in. And of course, he gets the text message right then indicating that the car has been checked in. Now that we have our ticket checked in, let's go ahead and assign our technician. This will leverage our user mapping. This also will have been set up by your administrator. If you need more details on user mapping, that'll be in a separate video as well. We do this initially in Protractor. So we'll hop right over there. We'll open up Joe Palooka's ticket. And now we'll choose our service advisor and technician. Use myself as the advisor, and we'll give this to our technician, leave it off. He doesn't work on waiters. You have to leave it off. With that set, we're going to save and close this ticket. Notice it does automatically choose the inspection in progress right here in Protractor. I don't like changing my status like that at this stage. I actually deliberately will save and close and leave it in vehicle on site. The reason I do this is because my strategy with my technicians would involve the status updating to that inspection status when they begin the DVI. I'll show you how that works. You see now that this is properly assigned to each of our users. Let's actually change the priority for Lee. This one over here for that MDX was his #1 priority. Let's go into tech flow. Up on the upper right, you'll see tech flow, and you can see the priority of vehicles that is set up right here. And you can expand these cards and collapse them, but I'm gonna just drag Joe's Honda Odyssey to the #1 slot, so that will be Lee's top priority. By doing that, you'll see the priority has shifted here on the main page. Let's log in as our technician to see how he sees this. Remember, technicians are typically going to see their view on a tablet screen, so that's what I'm replicating here in this view. Tablets will have a different screen size and therefore show less of the workflow since there's less screen real estate. Now, I have sorted this by priority descending, so this makes it very easy for my technician to see what job order he should be doing things in, and all he needs to do is go ahead and click into the DVI, and this will open up for him to perform the inspection. Notice on the upper right, we do have notifications. The technician would have been alerted when a vehicle was assigned or if there's work order assignments. It is very helpful to keep these items cleared. Technicians keeping a clear notification field will be able to receive any more important notifications a little bit easier. Now I'm gonna go back full screen for this, and we're gonna go ahead and add a couple of things to our DVI. This vehicle has been in the shop before, so most of our details I've already pre-filled. If it was the first time a vehicle's in, much of this data will be filled in by whatever you had inserted in Protractor. In this case, we never got the mileage. If we had, this would import in. However, since we didn't get the mileage, we're gonna go ahead and add that as the technician right now. This is important because as I save this field, you'll notice that my action as a technician here caused the status to automatically update to the inspection status. Very helpful, and it lets the service advisors know where this is at in the process, and the customer can also receive a text message if you've customized this for them to receive notifications. Now, first things first, the technician is going to want to address the reason for the visit. Remember, we added that concern in Protractor. This shows up directly on the top of the DVI for the technician. We do require them to acknowledge the reason the vehicle's here. Those concerns are critical. We do not want to perform other parts of the inspection, ignoring the concern. So if I do hit here to complete this inspection, it's going to give me this error. It says, please acknowledge reason. Vehicle is here before submitting report, and it'll even flag this for you so that you know to go ahead and click on this. Just acknowledge it, that's all we ask. Now I've gone ahead and I've already taken care of a few parts of this DVI, but let's scroll down to that item that would be addressed by our main concern. That sway bar link that we use as an example here, let's go ahead and indicate something here. We use the predictive text, of course. We can start typing anything here and this will pre-fill with a predicted item. You can also choose from a drop-down list. This is based on the category, or you can add a recommendation. The recommendation is line item specific for this part of the inspection, so we can choose to do both front sway bar links there. And of course, if there's anything marked red or yellow, we encourage you to have your technician add a picture. I'm doing this from a file. Their tablet would allow them to upload directly, and you can, of course, add multiple images from one time in your gallery from your device. Now I'm going to call this good enough for this particular demonstration. We have a few things marked red on this sheet. We have several things marked good, and we're going to go ahead and acknowledge that concern. One neat feature in Auto Text Me is if the technician does take any notes on this, if you want to say see sway bar links, he can do that. And then he can also tag that main concern from items that are marked in the inspection. And when we update this, that will make it very clear to the client how this is actually related to their main issue. We're not just inspecting the vehicle for the sake of finding additional things, but to truly identify their concern as well. Now, the technician, when he's completed, all he has to do is mark the inspection complete at the bottom of the screen. He's done and he can move on. Now, in my example, when I go back to my dashboard, you'll see that this status is in inspecting still. There is an option for sign off to automatically move this to the estimating status. That can be set by your administrator in the auto update section. From here, your service advisor is going to be notified. I've logged in now as my service advisor once again, and you can see I have a notification that the inspection has been completed. I can now move this manually if I wish into the estimating status. This is something I do prefer to do. And if you do have a time limit that you like to set, you can have that default by your administrator. And now I'm actually going to clear this notification by clicking on it. This is where the service advisor actually will engage the DVI, edit it, review it, make sure he understands it so he can begin building his estimates. You'll notice at the top of the page, there are some buttons here. The technician technically has this DVI push button. However, I do encourage the service advisors to be the one to press this. This will push all of the results from the DVI into Protractor. The text email button is what will send this to the customer themselves. Technicians do not have access to this button. Now we can go and review things here. We can change any notes that we need to. If we wanted to say loose cause of rattle, I can change those notes. We do keep track of any changes that a service advisor makes. We can see who said what. Lee's words would be preserved exactly as he typed them. No worries by editing this. Now, when we are happy with this and we're ready to push this into Protractor, all we do is we push the DVI with the button. As soon as that turns green, it's in there and we're ready to go. Notice this is the same inspection sheet that we assigned that had already been selected for my technician. If you did want to perform additional sheets, you could do that. They have to be submitted independently as well. Here we are back in Protractor. Let's open Joe Palooka's ticket. And we're going to go ahead and take a look right here at this concern note. You'll notice the note that our technician typed is appearing for us right there, indicating exactly what showing us exactly what he wrote. Now we can click on the inspection tab, and any of the items that we marked green, yellow, red, or whatnot, all of it will be here. If you don't mark something in the auto text me inspection, it will not show up as a blank line item. It'll never look to the customer like it was skipped either. We keep those things out of view so you can do partial inspections. That's perfectly fine. There's no consequences. That may be missed opportunity. Now from here you can have a very easy time estimating any of the items that are marked red or yellow. You want to go ahead and add a service package for your sway bar link. You can do so by simply double clicking on this and adding a service package. Once you've added a service package here, it'll show up a little package icon right there, and you can go right back to your work order and you can see that. There is an option in Protractor where those can go to deferred service. Same is true for any service packages mapped automatically in the auto text me inspection. If those are mapped and there's a line item, in my example, the transmission fluid line item actually had a mapped service package. So this showed up in deferred service for our technician. So did our engine oil, lube, and filter. So we can actually just move these directly to our work order right from here if these are going to be presented and authorized to the customer, or you can wait until you authorize them. In my example here, we're just going to move them straight on and then we can refine our estimate from here. With my estimate refined, now that all that's left, I can split this ticket up any way I need to. It's already been assigned to Lee, but if I do have a job on here, take these sway bar links for example, we can go ahead and actually assign a different technician to that. This will be very helpful when we look at this again in auto text me. One key piece of advice for you is don't forget to save the ticket, and that can be done in any status you need to. I'm going to move this one actually to my estimate completed status. This can actually move my status forward in auto text me. Let's go back and take a look. When I go back to my active customer page, now Joe Palooka's ticket's in the waiting on approval status. One of the things that we should do before this part of the process, however, is actually going ahead and sending that inspection. Normally this would be sent before you actually want to alert the customer that you're ready for the conversation. We'll send that right now and we'll show you how that part of the process looks. You can see here that the DVI button has changed color again. This time it's yellow. That does mean I have sent it to the customer. It'll turn green when the customer views it. Let's take a look at that inspection as the customer would see it now. On a cell phone size screen, the customer would be able to open it like this. They'll be able to scroll in there and see exactly what their main concern was, the item that addresses that. You can also see any of the items that are marked red and why pictures are super critical. You can click on those, see any of the timestamps. Same for good items. Anything that's had a picture will show up here. You can click on them. Obviously, items with pictures do stand out and we encourage that. Pictures of your team can be added and shown at the bottom of the page here too. Now with the customer having viewed this, when I close this out now, I can refresh my page and you'll see that our button once again has turned green. That green indicator also is accompanied with a notification. This will let you know anytime that the customers actually open these up. Now once I've had this turn green and I know they viewed things, that's when I would want it to be in this waiting on approval status. Typically I'll move the status as an auto text me as opposed to counting on the integration with the status mapping. But that is totally up to you. A lot of users will want to stay inside of Protractor, and their actions when they move the ticket forward there can synchronize. Now it's time to authorize the work on the ticket. This is a key point because this is what can generate the digital work order for our technicians. Now, the way you handle authorizations may differ from shop to shop. I'm going to go ahead and mark these as authorized. And now I'm going to go ahead and save this ticket in the work authorized status. And this is a great status because this one actually can be mapped, of course, in auto text me, but it also generates the digital work order automatically. We've saved this in work authorized. What happens in auto text me is now I will see if I refresh this screen, you'll see the work order is going to gain a new icon, and that indicates that a work order has been generated. Before we open that up, let's take another look at tech flow. Remember, we split that ticket to another technician. Well, that vehicle will actually automatically appear in each of those technicians' columns with this having been done. As soon as that work order generates, you can expand this out and you can see exactly how many hours are assigned for this technician versus this one and how many hours they've completed for the day. This is a great screen to be able to see what their real load is like. Another thing happens when you've generated that work order. It also makes a parts list. Based off of the authorized items, we have a parts list that we can indicate if parts have been actually ordered and if they have arrived. This is great information for the technician on his digital work order. Let's go take a look at how the technician is going to see things here, and notice as soon as I put this to work authorized, it moved to the waiting on technician status. That's my mapped status. You can move this to the waiting on parts or any other status you need to. Remember, statuses in parentheses are silent. The customer does not receive those notifications. It's just for internal notifications. So moving them backwards or forwards from these positions don't send any alerts to our client. The work is authorized and our technician will be notified of the fact. He received those notifications as soon as that ticket was authorized. He can clear those out or he can use them to click into the work order. I'm going to keep my notification clean and we'll go directly into the work order from here. Before I do that, I do like to encourage technicians to be the one to click onto the servicing status, whether it be on a desktop or on their tablet. They can click into that status and that'll be a nice indicator for the service advisor that this vehicle is in progress. There are other ways the service advisor will see that, especially with TechFlow, but that's one other option that you have. Let's open that work order, and now we can get to work on taking care of these items. You'll notice if I show all on this work order, the items that we indicated on that work order parts list will be indicated here with that green sticker for arrived or that blue ordered note. This is very helpful for technicians on larger jobs, or if you're a European shop and you've got that BMW engine all apart with all that list of parts that goes along into it. Knowing what's here and what's not without having to go dig around is a time saver for technicians. They will absolutely appreciate this. Now we're going to go ahead and mark all these items as completed. You can of course clock time as well. I'm just going to mark them complete and mark this work order as finished. Notice we do have notes here from our other technician who already completed his job. If I do need to add notes here, these can go back into Protractor. I'll show you how that works. Once I've marked this as complete and I've signed off on that work order, that ticket goes down into the technician's work done folder. It also, if you want it to, can automatically move into the quality control part of the process. I have an automated update set for this, and that really just keeps things moving along this workflow without additional steps. Now we're back here as our service writer once again. We also have received another notification indicating that the work order is complete. Of course, we see the checkbox here as well. I can clear that, I can go review it. Reviewing it is a good idea, especially with the ability of technician notes going back into Protractor. Another reason you might want to review it is clocked time, if you are tracking this, can be pushed right into Protractor as well. I don't have much to report on clock time here, of course. I wasn't really using that but the way it's sent back in is an SMS button right up here, and this will turn into a push button for viewers later on. This will just simply be clicked a lot like we did with the DVI, and as soon as that turns green, these notes and any of the clock time are going to go right back into Protractor for us. Just take a look at how that looks. Back here on the ticket in Protractor, take a look down at our stabilizer link job, and just down here in Tech Notes, we can see the notes that we had added from the technician in Auto Text Me appear neatly there. Any notes that he has, any longer notes obviously, will of course transfer in as well. Now, with this part of the job complete, it's time to do the quality control part. Quality control in Auto Text Me is pretty straightforward. You can navigate to it directly from any other form, but I like to just also show you that you can do this from the main page. You can click the dark blue button, or if it's already highlighted green because we're in that status, you can do it there as well. Or you can of course click right here. That'll open the QC form. This is a basic checklist to make sure that the vehicle is in a deliverable state for our client. We want to make sure this is done, and a service advisor, technician, administrator, it doesn't matter who it is, all users can do this. Just indicate anything and be honest about something that you found. If you had forgotten something, you can go ahead and indicate it. This is about making sure our processes are improved, so honesty here is what matters. We're not looking for perfect sheets. We just want to know what we're catching before delivery. That tells us our quality control process is working. We have lots of training material available on final quality control. Please look that up. We'll submit this report, and of course, once this report is submitted, notifications go for the advisor as well. QC is complete. Just like other forms, when that's completed, it'll also turn orange. Technically, you can send or text those to the customer. We aren't going to do that. In this particular case, I only use those for internal documentation anyhow. Once we have a successful quality control form submitted, now it's time to go ahead and save this ticket in the work completed status. By doing so, this will indicate to the customer that the vehicle is ready for pickup. I like to do that from this save icon here. It's easy to forget to save a status otherwise. So I'm going to go ahead and hit work completed right there. And when I save and close that and pop back over to Auto Text Me, I'm going to refresh my page, and you'll see Joe Palooka has now moved into that ready status. This sends an alert to the customer that the vehicle is ready for pickup, and if you want to back that up with a text payment option, you can do that directly through Auto Text Me. Click the payment button in that window. The invoice number will fill out for you, and just simply type in the dollar amount you're requesting. You can do partial payments in Auto Text Me at other parts of the process. This is ideally where it will go. For more details on text to pay, look at our training website. We work with multiple vendors, and they should work all about the same way for you. Now let's say we have taken payment. We would receive confirmation of that. Let's go back into Protractor. We'll open up our ticket. We're going to post this order now. By posting this order, you can of course choose to make an appointment here. I'm just going to skip that for this example. We're going to go ahead and say text to pay was our payment. We're going to add that dollar amount there. We're good to go. I'm going to hit next. We of course can choose to print or save as a PDF. I will post this. And once that's been done, the ticket automatically closes from the board in Auto Text Me. There is no additional necessary steps you need to take in this system. You can manually close tickets off of our page. It's just not going to be necessary, and this does help keep your board from being cluttered. We've taken Joe from an appointment all the way through close. You're going to have some questions as you go. You may want to watch this video again. There are also segmented videos on each of the features we discussed that may go into greater detail. If you have questions, please go to the support button up on the upper right of your page. Depending on your login, you'll see either administrator, service advisor, or technician training. Use those resources, and if you don't see the answers you need, go ahead and reach out to us. Submit a support ticket, and general usage questions are perfectly encouraged. We're happy to help you out, and we have a full team devoted to do so. Appreciate your time and attention. I hope you enjoy the integration with Protractor and Auto Text Me. We'll work with you to develop out your process so that you can make it uniquely yours anytime you want. Thank you.